As many a great chef have said, if you wouldn't drink it, you shouldn't cook with it, so make a steak and ale pie with me with Hawkstone Nectar. First of all, I start by dicing an onion. I would usually just slice it for a pie, but my 3-year-old will find any onion that isn't diced and will refuse to eat it. So then I start heating my oil up, and whilst I'm doing that, I've got some beef skirt from Sainsbury's. Chop that up and then put that straight into your hot oil to get a nice sear on it. Then I remove that from the pan and add the onions in. Leave those to cook down for about 15 minutes while I pop out to the herb garden. I grab some rosemary, some bay leaves and a sprig of thyme. I love my herb garden. It smells so fresh out there and I love growing my own herbs. It's one of the beauties of cooking at home. Then I head back inside, I add 2 beef stock cubes to 400 ml of boiling water, give that a good mix and also add in a teaspoon of bouillon. Add some garlic in with the onions, cook that for a few minutes and then add the beef back in. Then you want to coat it with some plain flour. I just do a couple of tablespoons and cook that for about 30 seconds before adding in your stock. And of course, a taste for the chef, and then in goes the Hawkstone Nectar. Then I will add in my herbs. I add in a bit of Maggi and add in a bit of Worcestershire sauce. Season it well, give it a good stir, and then I will pop the lid on and I will cook that for a good 3 to 4 hours on a low heat in the oven. Then I'm going to dice up my butter. Pastry is the easiest part of making a pie. I know everyone gets scared about pastry, but it's the easiest part, especially if you have a food processor. You weigh out your flour, bang that in with the butter and then give it a quick blitz. You want it to sort of come out looking like breadcrumbs. Just check with your hands that all the butter's, sort of dissipated in there. And then I add in some thyme. I season with salt and pepper. And then I add in a little bit of water, which I do by eye because I've made so much pastry, but it's about a tablespoon, maybe 2. Bring it together into a bowl and cling wrap it. Refrigerate that whilst your pie finishes cooking, and then bit of flour on the work surface and you can roll out your pastry. I normally will blind bake that for a little while and then you can fill it and pop your top on. I do a little egg wash or a milk wash. Bake for 40 minutes at 180 and voila, steak and ale pie made with Hawkstone Nectar. Delish.